Welcome back to the How We Doin podcast, episode 111, correct?
Bravo.
Right? We're rolling. Yep. We're rolling. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Returning viewers, you guys rock. Those of you that don't return, it's all good. I got better things to do with my life, too. Appreciate you guys, though, tuning in for those of you that are here. So, welcome back. I'm Chris. This is Nick. That's James over in the left-hand corner.
Hey, yo.
And today we have a special guest. We found him on the 4th of July. He was out there shooting fireworks off in the street. And we said, you know what? You look like you'd be a good time on a podcast. So
we decided to bring Buffy
found this
back
random
on.
guy, and now we're doing a podcast with him.
What's up, you beauties?
No, I'm just kidding. You guys have seen him before. This is our boy Buffy Buffalicious, Nick. Nah, man, that sounded fucking.
That sound weird, and I don't even.
Nick. My girlfriend calls me Nick.
Well, and I was like, wait,
and I'm like,
I'm Nick. Like that's not his name.
Dude, I've never thought like once to call you Nick in my life. Like that doesn't even like it doesn't even come to me that that's your name.
No, you know what it was? It's fit because there was Nick B.
Yeah.
There was Nick M. There was Nick N. And then there was another Nick M. No, whatever. There were 4 different Nicks.
Right.
So I was Nick B, Nick B, Nick B. And I was like, Nick B sucks. So my dad's nickname was Buffy. So 5th grade going to 6th grade, I was like, look, it's time to start fresh.
Sat everyone down.
And I said, I'm going to be Buffy next year. I remember it was Dan McQuillan was like, you can't make your own nickname. And like, look at me now. Look at me now.
Watch me.
That's funny, dude.
No, I mean with a name like Buffy, like that's a nickname.
Yeah.
Like you should have that as
solid
a nickname.
Yeah.
Solid. You know it's a solid nickname when you can have other variants too.
I was just thinking that
because I call you Buff most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buff is like a
Buff sounds
quicker Buffy.
The Canadians, it's Boofy. Boofy.
Hey, Boofer. Boofers.
Hey, Boofer, how you doing today?
Boofer.
Hey, Boof.
Oh man.
Beauty, what is up, Boofy? How you doing?
Beauty's a common term in hockey, right?
I pushed it away for a while, and I've finally adjusted, so I'm going to start saying beauty.
Yeah. Beauty, so beauty just rolls in the hockey lingo.
Yeah.
It's like a whole nother world. Like,
yeah,
you could like have a conversation and like in English, and people have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I noticed too is like hockey has an accent.
It does.
Like you could be from New York and you play hockey since you're a kid, and you're gonna sound like a little bit like you're from like Massachusetts or Canada.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the lingo, like you just talk in that tone, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's kind of like angry-ish.
It's kind of like questioning every end of every word almost.
Yeah, it's got it's definitely got a certain twang to it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll get to a certain point in the season, and instead of saying like sorry, that's on me, I'll start being like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, fuck.
Sorry.
Spending way too much time with these guys.
That's funny.
For those of you out there that are like, what the f*** are you talking about? Buffy is athletic trainer for a hockey team down in Florida. So that's what we're talking about, just for
with
some
hockey
clarity.
Comes Canadians.
So yeah, exactly.
You have a good amount of Canadians on the team or no?
Yeah, it's like 50-50 Americans, Canadians. A lot are from Ontario and like British Columbia. And then there's the occasional Swede or Finn or something like that.
Yeah.
Usually it's really hard to get them over here due to the immigration process. It's easier for a Canadian for whatever reason. But to try to sign a Swedish guy in our league, it's like, unless they've already been here for a while, if you're just trying to like, hey, this guy in the SHL put up whatever, it looks like he'd be good on our second power play. It's like, have fun bringing that guy over. And then the cost to bring that guy over and the whole nine is...
It's a headache.
It's a nightmare. So the only time we ever usually get them is if they're like an NHL or AHL contract.
Yeah. Seems a little racially motivated. I'm not going to lie.
I think it's like a prejudice because it's not... I don't think it's their race. It's where they're from. So you're prejudging them from that. Then it is racism because of how they look. I think that's how that works.
Yeah, I might have missed that class.
Prejudice was the same thing. No, you broke that down pretty good.
That was good, though, yeah.
It was... my dad used to tell that to me. He goes, not racist. I'm prejudiced. And I was like, I don't know if that's really better, but thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, if that makes you feel better.
Tomato.
At least it's like you don't like a place, not a color or a look of a person. Yeah.
Well, before we dive into whatever we're going to talk about on this podcast, we don't even really know. We'll just, you'll find out as we go. But James, why don't you give them a little taste,
little taste of what the pod
something maybe.
Got you little good things, little
talk about
get
some
people
good things. Talk about great things.
All right. It's the How We Doing podcast. We're here. We're happy to be here. Okay, we remind you to hold the freaking door. Don't be a miserable. Help somebody out. All right, in whatever way you can. You don't want to hold the door because you are the way you are. Then just figure it out. Okay, it's not hard to be nice, is what we're basically saying out here. And
right.
Look, you gotta remember something. You're an asshole. Straight up. Yeah, you didn't expect that one, did you?
Let him cook.
But you're an asshole, and but you're a beautiful asshole, and those are rare.
Everyone has one.
Everyone has one, but you execute it the way you do, in the marvelous way you do it, and only you could do that. So be proud that you're a beautiful asshole. Okay. We're going to get into it, all right? So, listen, just be happy you're alive, okay? Take a nice deep breath away from your worries, away from your problems, all the crap, all the things, and enjoy the craziness that we bring to the table today. How we doing, baby? We're locked in. That's it. We're here. How we doing?
Locked in, dialed in, ready to go, ready to load and flow. So,
we got
a special guest here.
Yeah. Go, sorry.
And, yeah. I don't know. I feel like we should play a little GeoGuessr today. There's been a lot of geography talk going on today, and I'm feeling dangerous. I feel like we could really do something.
About geography?
Yeah, a little bit.
I play
Buffy's from Florida.
I play the Where Taken almost every day at my work. It became like too much. Where this year I kind of banned the kids from playing with me, the guys from playing with me, because it was a legitimate 5 guys standing behind me going, It's Indiana. It's Indiana. And I was like, boys, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. You just go grab a hop and get out of my room, dude. And
dude, is that the same
fired up over
GeoGuessr?
geography?
It's relatively it'll pop up a picture, and then you get 6 guesses, and it's and so say if there's world and U.S. So say I want to, and then there's when taken too. When taken's pretty sick. It's more like the map, and then you do a scale of 1850 from whenever photos were created to now, and so you get to pick. It's it's pretty fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we get pretty
Definitely
fired up
test
about
your
it.
mind, yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's supposed to be studying plays and
they're
knowing their lines and
they're in no going Zimbabwe. It's like, dude, this is obviously not Eastern Africa.
That's clearly Nevada.
It's like Queens or something.
Some of it's cool though, especially going different places, because there's the place. There's a botanical garden that's sick, and it's in Oklahoma City, and it was an overhead view of it, and then the second it popped up, I go, "That's Oklahoma!" Bang, nailed it. I was like,
that's gotta be good.
Fired up.
You've been to a place and you just you're.
It's a good feeling. That's one of those things.
And then sometimes it just gives you a shoreline with water, and you're like, all right, what am I supposed to do with this?
Everybody everywhere has
trying to see where the sun is to tell where you are in the geographical.
Yeah.
Speaking of water, man, I was on the water today. Went on a friend's boat.
How was that water?
The water wasn't nice. I mean, our water's not great over here. It was nice to be out there, But I was thinking the whole time, I was like, why? If the water was you know what I mean? It'd be such a better experience if the water was what are you about to say?
I don't know, because you didn't use any words to describe what you were saying. I was just a little confused.
The water's
gross and ugly, but if it was
if it
Bahama,
was turquoise
clear,
like that,
all right,
be like, oh, there we go.
Yeah,
definitely is far from turquoise.
Yeah.
Needless to say, you said your experience was good.
It was good. It's nice to be out on the water.
You think about sinking at all? I feel like that's when I'm on a boat.
We were
about
7 people on a little freaking. Was that a joke at me?
Why? No, I'm just saying. I feel like whenever I'm on a boat, I'm thinking about it.
I was a little worried. I mean, I've been out on the boat with Dylan before, and he knows what he's doing, but it's not a big boat. You want to go on a boat, you're secure. eats up the waves like it's nothing. This one, we were getting some
Yeah,
waves.
maybe that's what it is. I just haven't been on the right boat.
We were a little. It was a little like,
Like that sailboat
Pretty
that we
low.
went on in Cabo.
Yeah.
That thing was like torture, dude. We were out there for like an hour.
5 hours.
It was a consistent
It felt
rock.
like 5 hours, but it was probably like an hour and a half.
It was a
no way. It was an
for
hour
most
and
of
a
the
half.
time there was like a consistent
How
rock
long
as
do you
we
think
were
we were out
moving.
there for?
So that was
We were on
rough.
there for at least 2 hours, at least.
Probably something like that.
Oh man, that's terrible, dude. It was like,
Ooh.
and like the water was so choppy, and like it's a sailboat, so it's just like just sitting there tipping.
Yeah, the same.
And like they're offering us free drinks and food. It's like, who is gonna eat and drink right now? Like you guys
Yeah,
probably were, but
That was
I wasn't.
I mean, I was
the
drinking.
first half
Yeah.
hour.
You were sending it. I don't know.
first-
It's a little
like-
different when you have some experience on a boat. Because when I was consistently on boats growing up, it was like, all right, like I can manage this pretty well.
Yeah,
I went on
yeah.
a boat the other day. We were just in the river, like wasn't anything too crazy, and I was like consistently thinking of if I'm about to fall, how am I gonna save myself?
That's literally what
Yeah.
I was thinking. Like, I'm worried. I'm like, I wrote my phone. I'm like, what do people do? Like, you just go. I'm gonna have to go to T-Mobile and be like, I need a new phone and I need a new. I really thought I was gonna have to do that for some reason.
Oh yeah, I was petrified. My phone was gonna fall over when we were on that sailboat.
Yeah, and a
for
lot of
some
times I'm just like checking where we're at. I'm like if something happens, know whether to swim this way or that way is closer. Like,
Listen, I got a question.
okay.
All right. What if? What would you do, whether you were there or not, if a dragon just popped out of the water,
Like a
I'd
eel,
film that
like
shit.
a freaking dragon,
Loch Ness monster,
just
looking
like
thing?
Loch Ness monster, like big, like a freaking state just popped out the water.
Dude,
fly.
I try and
Well, is it aggressive or is it just there?
That's not a question I can answer.
Is
I
it
would like to
friendly?
believe that it's friendly, but I don't get no
if it's
promises.
friendly, I'm trying to ride that thing.
You're out your
Full
mind,
on
boy.
Jon Snow, baby.
You're just gonna jump on the back of its neck.
Could you imagine, bro? I
You
was
were
saying,
worried about falling into the water.
Yeah.
You're gonna ride the Loch Ness
Yeah,
monster.
don't worry.
you bring up a whole thing of whether dragons are real or not, which I always say, I'm like, if there's this idea of mythologically or whatever of dragons, they had to be real at some point.
Yeah, I think they're mentioned
And
in the Bible.
I just think they're the coolest thing that can be.
They're sick.
Well, I mean, like,
Like-
isn't a dragon pretty much? It's a dinosaur. The only difference is
No.
one breathes fire, right? Like,
It's not really a dinosaur though.
It's not really a dinosaur. It's
mean,
like
say
what's
They've
the
made the term
They're
dinosaur.
lizards,
You could
bro.
call
They're
anything a
lizards?
dinosaur.
Well, yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
They're
Thank you,
like
Danito.
prehistoric lizards, dude.
That-
Think
yeah.
about it. Like now that they're saying that, like the raptors and all of them, they had feathers. Like there's nothing stopping from a lizard being able to fly. Maybe the breathing fire stuff.
Well,
is, like, a
yeah,
little
you had the
exaggerated.
pterodactyl, you know,
Yeah.
but like
pterodactyl.
You know, you hear that?
dinosaurs don't
You
have
know,
a
we had the pterodactyl. Like, what the- it's like wherever
because
who says
that's
that?
the one that flies.
That's true.
I feel
That
like
is-
dragons have a little bit more like girth to them though. Like
Yeah. I
the
think
body is
so.
a little bit like thicker.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to like. I mean, also they symbolize. I'm pretty sure that they symbolize gluttony. That's why they sit in piles of gold. They collect all this gold, and that's where they sit. So like it reflects
Well,
as to
they're-
why they're fat as. And then it's like, are your what are your wings really doing right now? Like, are these
Yeah,
testes?
they're like the, you can't f- with a dragon, so then they get fat, and then it's like they don't even use their wings that were given to them.
Sickest dragon is Lord of the Rings dragon, and he gets melted in the gold and then breaks through the side of the castle, and then
shit.
I've never seen Lord of the
nasty. It's a sick clip. Even if you don't watch the Lord of the Rings, because it's a lot to get to. It's like the seventh movie. It's
Yeah.
worth just to see that last clip.
I
of
love
the
might
last
wanna-
movie.
dragons.
Just go ahead, just hop to that scene
Game
right
of
there, real
Thrones,
quick.
Like I love even like
I didn't love dragons until I mean,
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. But like, I
most
mean,
people didn't have like a good example to look at.
right? Nobody was
until
out. I
then.
mean, maybe some.
The Lord of the Rings.
CGI
Most.
changed the game. I watched literally this morning a documentary on Godzilla, and like literally the entire documentary is like the two guys, Honda and the other dude, I forget what his name is. Their whole process was, guys, I get we're in this dumb Godzilla costume, but you gotta take this seriously though. So, it's like you're watching it, and it's like hand puppets and like
Yeah.
little figurines, and
Yeah.
so they were like trying to change the game, and it was because they based it off of King Kong, and they needed to produce it within a year. But it takes 7 years to do like the stop footage. So they were like, hey, we got to get this done. That's why they went with some dude in a costume. He could only wear it for 3 minutes and was passing out halfway through it.
Wow.
So it's like that was what we had of dragons until CGI came along.
Yeah.
And
Dave,
now
can you
it's
look
like,
that up real quick?
How
just so you get,
wild
like, a
that is,
visual?
actually.
It's the original. It's
yeah,
the original Godzilla.
1954.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. It was, it was like an hour-long documentary. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
It was,
even like I'm infatuated with like it's not really a dragon, but like an Avatar when they took their freaking hair and
Oh yeah, that's pretty
connected
sick.
with the animal, like you're flying.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking cool.
I don't know.
And
like,
for some
everything
reason,
about that stuff is so cool.
when I watched that in Avatar, I was like,
it made sense,
I
right?
want to do that
Yeah.
shit.
It made so much sense.
Connect
No,
us.
me too.
Yeah, bro. If we could bring back dragon, like we talked about it a couple episodes back, how they're bringing back extinct animals. Like, if we could bring back dragons, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, best believe they probably already have one.
Be more dangerous than AI,
Area 51. Hello. You don't think they got a dragon over there right now?
They might.
Just chilling right
Dude,
now in the
could you
backyard.
imagine?
Probably talks.
That's like in the new,
They'll
not
probably
the new
tell
one,
us soon.
but
Like,
the Jurassic
there is.
World.
By the
movie.
way, we have a dragon.
Did you ever
Named
see that
Tommy.
one? Jurassic World. It's so stupid, bro. Like the big T-Rex gets out, wrecks the whole park. Everyone's on the dock, and then they're like, "Oh, let's let out the female or the male." Like they had another one, and they just let it out, and like that
Talk
movie
about
just didn't make sense to me. But the
They
new
should
one
have
just
stopped
came
making
out.
those movies after like probably the second one.
Yeah,
That was about it.
the new one just came
Yeah.
out. I
you
think.
got to give it like a 30-year reboot and then like 30 years
That's
from
all the
then.
industry's
Yeah.
doing now, dude.
Yeah.
They're only remaking movies, doing biopics
Buyout, yeah.
or biopics. Sorry, I said
That's
that
what they
wrong.
call it. I think it both
I think
ways.
yeah, I think you could pronounce that either way. I think
Like
it's correct.
biography things.
Yeah.
Like just,
Like it started with like the Queen one.
Mm.
Then they did Elton John. Now they got
Oh, yeah. But the Michael Jackson, they did one on him.
I don't think they did. They made a documentary about him.
Oh, but you mean
But
like
they
a
did one
reenactment?
for
I think there has been one.
Bob Dylan.
for him.
I remember there was
It'd be nice to see one.
There's a
like
little
a new one of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I think we were like 7th grade. There's a little chubby black guy who was in our the grade below us. I don't know, you might remember him.
Dale?
Dale, and he used to walk around with the glove.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I was like, now looking back, it's like, Dale, relax, dude. Like,
It's funny.
Hell nah, nah.
Remember he was on our flag football team.
He was on our flag football team.
and the coach had him dance one play to like distract the other team.
Yeah, it was
He
golden.
was doing like the moonwalk, like just like on
Rich
defense.
Guttos is our coach.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was. I think it was
It was
Matt
McNally.
McNally's dad.
Sorry.
yeah.
He was our coach and other things. But
Anyway, you got something
What?
else to
I had
say,
something
Smav?
else.
Where was it? Where was it?
yeah,
What?
now they're doing the Bruce Springsteen one with the guy from Shameless. I don't know his name.
Yeah,
From the Bear. He doesn't even look like Bruce Springsteen. I don't get it.
yeah. It's too drawn out, man. Like nobody,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know. My
And
point
it's
is like
all like that. It's already out there. You know,
Yeah.
like people. The story they're telling is already out there. Like,
The best cinema and the best music has already been made. It's just like for some reason the industry of entertainment is
They don't
dry in a
wanna
way
do
that
it,
I think
yeah.
it's never been.
Yeah, I mean,
they
it
did one
could
for Bob, the
come
Bob
back.
Marley one too. I watched.
No,
Which
I mean it
that one was
will
okay.
with us. We'll make it happen. We'll make it better.
Yeah, you'll see us out there
Till you-
on, you know, CBS, PBS, TBS, all this.
All the S's. Wait, hold on a second. I want to, cause so when Buffy walked in, I expected him to say something about my face, and if you guys haven't noticed already, I shaved it. All right, I'm inviting change. I'm doing something different. Okay, we'll see what comes of it. Buffy, you didn't say anything about my face. You just accepted it, or you just were like saying a bunch of shit in your head, and you were like, I'm not telling this what he looks like.
did you
right
have
now.
a beard a couple days ago?
I did.
No way.
I did. It's like did not even remember that.
I was probably pretty loaded at the time.
We did
You
have a
guys,
good time.
you
We
guys
had a
were,
good time.
yeah, you guys were in pretty deep when we got there.
that is true.
It's just, I remember getting there. Frank is just
Frank
yelling
was
at me.
already faded.
You,
yeah.
It never fails,
Frank
you
is
know.
out.
Like if Frank is drinking somewhere, and it's like, "What are you doing, man?" It's like, "Why don't you just fucking
Yo,
relax?"
that
bro?
dude, bro. You know, he comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, try some of this premium whiskey that I got." I go ahead and I smell like an idiot. Ready? I go, "Oh, it smells like cinnamon. It smells good." Now I haven't had
Fireball.
a Fireball in like forever, so I'm just thinking that this is just some new type of whiskey or some like I'm actually taking his word for it. I taste it. I'm like, now I know what it is. I'm like, you're an asshole. Like, you fucking
Dude,
got me. Like,
he,
I don't want to lead him.
yeah,
He's a
just
character,
fucking
but he's
ball
funny
buster.
as fuck, dude.
He is.
He's something else. Every single time I come back to New York, it is like first thing I have to do is see Frank. Just catch up on all the that he's doing. He's always got something going on.
Yeah, he's a maniac.
He's something else. And then I'm good. I got the year's worth of Frank.
Got the updates.
Yeah,
You
it's
only
good.
need
Yeah,
that
quick,
once. Yeah, once a year is good. It's not bad.
That's really great.
Umbo.
What?
Speaking of the friend group and this and that, Buffy said he wanted to resurface a little something about accusations that may or may not have been made of whatnot.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so a couple of episodes back, I brought up the wretched thing that happened to me.
Wretched.
By
That's
my
a bad- Damn, why
by
don't
my
you tell them that's
my
a wrong
so-called
word?
friends.
It's not that bad.
It's not bad.
That's far fetched, I think.
Shut up. You don't even know how to.
Technically, it's not
speak
wrong,
anything.
but nonetheless,
Give me the
It's a
definition.
wretched.
remind them.
It's wretched.
Remind them of the wretchedness.
But anyway, they,
Spell
these people I thought were my friends put up a poster of me or my number with a sign saying to call, giving Borat impressions. And, going through all the suspects, it led me to Buffy. And, Buffy is full-fledged
Bullshit.
telling me that it's not him, but I believe you. It's just that I don't know what to believe anymore. That's what it is.
So give me your prime suspects.
Okay.
And why? Give
All
me
right.
give me who and why.
All right.
Hold on one
at least
second
top
before
three.
I have
Gotta
to
give at least
interject.
top 3 or 2.
You had a face just now that I was like, did he like strategically try to get on the podcast to reveal himself on the podcast? Because that would be fucking amazing.
that would be
Because
great.
the person that did it has been saying that they're going to reveal themselves at some
Right.
point.
Well, I was
But I
going to
guess
say
not.
the
That would've
reason
been
that I
fucking
know
great.
that is because Connor said that he knows who it is, and
I was
that
gonna say, who's been saying
We've been hearing things.
right. Connor says that he knows who it is, and so does Frank. Right.
Frank thinks it's me?
And I'm thinking, who does Frank
That's-
and Connor talk to the most?
Frank doesn't
You.
know. He's just saying he knows because he's an ass.
Frank just says it's me. That's all it is.
I honestly, it's either my top 3 suspects or you, Frank, Connor, and I would throw, I don't think it was Dylan, but like I would throw him in there as a wild card.
Dylan's an idiot.
That's what I mean,
It's turning into the
What do
sickest
you-
game
I'm,
of Guess Who.
I'm surprised you don't have. So I spoke to Andrew about it because I thought Andrew did it because you were getting calls from Arizona.
Right. That was my
Andrew,
first suspect,
Billy.
but he fell off because he so convincingly was like, dude, it wasn't me. Why would I do this on the bachelor trip? Blah, blah,
And-
blah, blah.
You were getting calls from where I'm from
I was getting calls from all over,
because that's where.
but there was a consecutive amount in a row where it was Florida.
Because that's where his fiance's family's from. So it's easy to pin that on me.
Andrews.
Yeah. Oh, Andrew's fiance's family lives like around the block from me.
Really?
So he could have told JC's younger brother, like, "Hey, post these around."
Now we're piecing
Where
things
Buffy
together.
lives.
That was my initial thought. I was like, this is something Andrew would do,
'Cause once-
and then blow off. Like I didn't do. Why would I do that?
Because once I heard it was coming from around where I am, I was like, "Oh, I'm getting framed for this." And then it started coming from Arizona, and I was like, "All right, well, you just did yourself in."
Yeah. Well, the reason I thought it was you too is because I didn't answer your text or texts
Yeah. How many
for a second.
Every time I text you.
But like it was that specific time, and I was like, oh, it's like I deserve this, honestly. So I was like, okay.
Push this kid over.
I was like, okay,
the
that's
edge.
fine. So like I get it. So I was like, it went from like various like thought processes because I had that on my mind, and then it was also like Andrew and Billy, they were in Arizona, right? And then like
Whoever did
then
it.
but then where it turned was the person that I actually got to speak to that wasn't a jerk off that didn't just hang up when I was trying to get some information to as like where the flyer was. told me that they were in Morristown, New Jersey. And then I'm thinking like, who the is in Morristown, New Jersey? Like, why would the flyer be over there?
Morristown, New Jersey.
So I don't know what to think. I just want to know who it is. That's all.
It's clever that they like started this campaign, Borat campaign, while they went to Arizona for the bachelor party, because it just throws a whole like wrench in the mix.
Well, you said you think it was your dad, which would be legendary if it was Jimbo.
That would be
legendary if it was Jimbo.
No,
I mean,
he doesn't have
Imagine dad at parties right now and at events playing this trick on my
just
son.
fucking with me the whole time.
This whole
No,
time.
there's no way that
No.
would
If he was part
You know
of
why
it.
though? Because he's never even seen that movie.
No, you
I
know
know he
why?
has.
Because dad would just like open himself up to a new like era of from us. Like we would be able to get him back in this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Not like terrible ways.
I
but
mean, that's
No,
how
but
bad
funny
it's
fun,
got
man.
though. I'm thinking it's my own family.
turn it towards you.
Seriously though, it's not. You know.
So what did
Well,
Andrew say?
So I texted Andrew with like whatever. It was like another type of prank similar to of what had happened. So I sent him to that, and I was like, "Dude, this would be hilarious if we did this to Chris." And he was like, "Oh, so you're the one who did it?" And I was like, "I thought you were the one who did it." And so we were both kind of looking at each other.
It's like
and,
The Departed, dude.
So then we said it was Feldman on Feldman crime for a podcast segment.
Right. So yeah, you brought that up.
So that's
at
where that
Andrew's
rumor
house.
came from.
That's where that rumor came from. Was
Even
we had spoke.
even on the 4th, people were looking at me. I was like, "Are you serious? You think I would do this? I'm insulted."
James, they think that maybe it might have been you.
Feldman on Feldman crime. Like,
Yeah.
it might have been me.
You're popping in and out of New Jersey.
I mean, I'm not saying that I did, but I'm not saying that I didn't.
With me any more than I'm already with right now. Dude, I'm
Did
turning
your
on
conversation with
family.
Andrew give you any reason to believe it
That's
was
not
him?
me. He's so funny.
Besides the fact that he was in Arizona, you're getting calls from Arizona, and that he has family from where, like, cover up. Besides that, it's just kind of speculation.
I don't know, man. We may never know. Whoever Connor knows who it is. though.
Whoever it is a coward if they don't reveal themselves.
All right, well then I did it.
That's
You
why
did
that
it.
face has been on this whole time.
did it.
no way, you did?
I called it.
Son of a bitch.
I called it,
So
dude.
this was his plan.
found
You're
the
right.
verdict?
I
No
called it
way.
because you had this face.
It
It's
was all
still
to
on.
get back onto the podcast.
It's really you.
It was me.
I was like, whoever did it's a coward. He's like, all right.
So my first instinct was correct. That makes me feel good.
Wow.
But you know-
That makes me feel like not a crazy person too. I feel more whole in the head.
So I did feel bad at a certain point. Probably the podcast. I literally clipped the podcast of like that segment.
Yeah.
I probably played it like 400 times. I was fired up about it. I will tell you. I will tell you though. So I made the flyer, and I sent it to my buddy in Vancouver, my friend in Nevada, my friend in Boston, and my buddy in New York, and I posted it in the arena.
Oh,
In the arena.
So
God.
there are 5 different states which this
Wait,
was
was
in.
New Jersey one of them?
So, I don't know how it got to I think I know how it got to New Jersey. My friend has a sister who plays professional hockey, and they might have been like in that area. So maybe they were there, and he posted it there or something like that.
I can't believe this, man.
I did
No,
not
honestly,
expect
I'm
this
not
reveal on this show
I'm
right
not
now.
even mad. I'm just relieved that I know who it is now.
So I felt bad because you were like, the best part was on the pod where you could tell that you were kind of cracking. You're like, please, if you see this, could you please take it down?
The first couple of days it was bad because it was literally nonstop, and it was literally like wherever they were posting them, like it wasn't just like in bars, like this was like everyday places too, because I'm getting calls at all hours of the day, and like I'm at work and like I'm using my phone for work, and I'm like, dude, I can't do this right now. This is too much. But it died down after probably like a week.
So because you were like, and I was like, dude, Like, I can't take him down. I'm sorry, man.
So how did you get him down?
I didn't.
You didn't get him down.
I don't know. I mean,
They're just
they
paper.
Could, they could
fade
still
away.
be up. I'm sure people probably ripped them down or posted over it.
Wow.
But I posted one. In my,
take him down.
He only had
Damn,
the
he's
confidence. He only knew of the one that he posted. He could have sent the other ones out, and they wouldn't have posted them at all.
Oh my God.
so
dude.
I had it in my arena, and you know what's funny? I posted it. 2 seconds later, ripped down. I was like, well, now I'm in a battle. So I posted it, and then I think it was left up. I really don't know how long it was up for. Only time I posted it in Florida, because I was like, you know what? Let me get some more traction outside of Florida, and just a little sprinkle of something. So my buddy puts it on. I don't know. My friend put it up in Vegas, but I don't know if he. I don't know. I think that they were still with you in Arizona. I'm almost positive that for sure. That time they were. For sure.
they were I know that they were calling.
They were sure with you.
Right, and that's why, like, they kind of helped you.
I know. Once I heard that, I was like, all right, I can milk this for a while.
Yeah. No, because there was no. If they weren't in Arizona, the only person I would have thought it would have been you.
Yeah.
That's it.
So-
or Frank.
Great deflection there. And then the
Yeah.
Morristown, New Jersey thing, great deflection. I
Wow.
don't know. So I don't know the Arizona thing. Probably them, though. And then so I had a buddy put it up. I don't know if he ever put them up in Vancouver. Did you get calls from Canada at all?
Probably.
So he was. I had a friend who was in Vancouver. I had a friend who was in. My friend in Boston. Shout out Ordo. He was like, Boofer, I will put this flyer on every street corner of all of Boston. And I was like, dude, you can put up like 5 at the most. Like, please don't go that. Do not go that hard. I'm begging you.
Oh my
Screwed,
God,
bro.
Buff.
You would have been screwed.
I had my friend put it on. I sent it to my one friend who lives in Queens. He said that he posted it on the Empire State Building.
Chris's phone number was all around the world, guys.
It's crazy that
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
get random calls anymore.
Well, the thing is, it's like a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah,
blow
like at
away.
that
point,
so
yeah.
just throw it
No,
out.
I mean it's true, but like sometimes you see a piece of paper, like it's
Yeah.
there for quite some time.
Somebody
That's-
would have laminated this, maybe like
That-
then,
oh
then
my
it would've
gosh.
Stood a
it'd
chance.
still be up.
You know, I should have. One retrospective thing I should have done is not put it on the paper and just the pull tabs. So once all the tabs were gone, it was done.
Right.
That was the only thing that I was like, all right, maybe this is a little too much because it's on the paper. But I was.
Right, because somebody could, if they just would have pulled the pull tabs, it would have
Yeah,
been
it would've been
limited.
gone, yeah.
yeah, it's like 5 or 10 calls from each
All
flyer.
right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
I
Or you
appreciate
just
it.
take a picture of the freaking flyer and you have it.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody does that, they're a real scumbag.
Wow.
You have no
You're
life
in
if
their
you're
group
gonna
chat.
call
now
somebody
now
repeatedly.
I'm replaying like the 4th. You're like, bro, I gotta come back on. Like, I know you want to come back on the pod because you
Yeah.
like it's fun on the pod and stuff. But like, you had to do
No,
this.
and you had to deflect us too. Yes, the 4th, because we were coming at you on the 4th. As soon as we got there,
Well, yeah. I've been thinking about it for a while. I've had the plan of deflection for
Dude.
quite some time.
But I also
It's
just
like
like
a
kind
master
of,
plan.
I kind of just like fell right into it too because when you came in the backyard, we were chatting it up and like almost instantly I was like, how much will you hear? Blah, blah, blah. You should come back on the pod, and then like I kind of like, all right, fine. Like you probably like,
He was
this is
"Oh,
part of
I
my
should come back on
plan.
the pod." Well, 'cause
Yeah.
You called me. I was leaving work.
Yeah. I had just watched the pod.
Yeah, so you called me doing a Borat impression. I'm like, yo, if somebody put my phone number, like this is war. Like you're gonna get.
great, bro.
But then Buffy's voice has a certain like hum to it, and I was just like, I knew it was you doing Borat, and I was like, oh, like you like to suck da da da, like something stupid. And then I was like, Buffy, what the are you doing, bro? I was like, is it you? Like, and you like you had a good like alibi. You're like,
Yeah.
no, I was just
Man.
cracking
I
up
was like,
watching the
yeah, I
pod.
was like, nah, I just watched the
Did
pod.
you
I just thought I was like,
Yeah.
I was literally
Oh,
watching.
man.
The episode just came out and I was fired up about it. The best was when, so you guys are going through it and then it kind of settles down for a second, and then you're like, pro move.
Honestly, out of all your friends, like Buffy doing it is the only one that's okay. Anyone else, I'm like, you're a real piece of
yeah,
I'm
And, like-
open to the clapbacks of pranks Because honestly, like it got me through like 3 or 4 weeks. I was pretty fired up for that time. Man.
Yeah, that is so
No, but
funny.
the way you handled yourself,
man,
and the way
I'm
you
just
just delivered it is pretty.
I'm just
cool.
like
This is
replaying
good
everything
stuff.
in my head. It's a lot.
Any
a lot to
listeners,
take in.
any listeners, you know, you now
man.
all have closure, just like Chris. Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a weight lifted off my shoulder. I'm sure it's a weight lifted off your shoulder as well.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be around you guys without like.
Yeah.
I'm not great at like keeping a straight face, so this definitely helped.
Wait. So did you tell anybody when you guys went out to dinner on Monday?
No, I accidentally told. You know what's funny? I told you that I did it when you texted me. If you scroll back in our text, I know it'll just be me texting you, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you said something back to me, and it's you texting me going, "Take him down," and I go, "I can't." Like it's my buddy in Boston, which was the truth, and you go, "Stop with me," and I was like, "Dude, it's not me. Like I don't know what to tell you."
Oh. So you threw
Like,
in the
went right
towel
over
right
it.
away.
I threw in the towel immediately,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, you didn't bite, and I was like, "Oh, I'm an idiot. Why did I just say that?"
Oh my god! But if I pushed back one more time, I probably would have had you.
Well, once I said that, and then you were like, I don't know, your response was not, okay, so Buffy did it.
Yeah.
Your response was like something else. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like, all right, I was like, I got to play this off.
So did Connor
Brilliant.
actually know or no?
Brilliant.
Connor actually knew.
Okay.
And so did Frank.
Frank did not know.
Yeah.
No?
So Frank was
I had a
just
feeling
bullshitting.
Frank was. And I was
Yeah.
looking at his face. I was like,
Alright.
it's bad poker face.
Yeah,
but-
you can't.
But
trust
Frank
anyone.
did know it was me. He knew it was me.
How?
I don't know. I don't know how he knew, but he knew it was me.
Oh, that's some wizard
So
shit.
he did know, but you
He
didn't
did
tell
know,
him.
but I didn't tell him. And then
Okay.
Andrew knew because Connor told him. Because I think Andrew said something, and then Connor was like, "Oh yeah, you knew. Like Buffy told you
This
too."
fucking Andrew story just boosted your credibility like even more within this podcast.
I
It was
know.
insane.
I had it dialed. I had it dialed down. I knew exactly how I wanted.
Everything fell into place.
Oh yeah.
I'll get you.
I'll get you.
I
It'll
just
be like a year from
my-
now. It'll be like-
Yeah.
my only criteria is like the video I sent to Andrew was someone wrote someone's number and said like send pics to me.
Oh my
Like that's
God.
kind of a forever prank. Like that's not going down anytime soon.
Yeah, no.
Something that has like an expiration date is all I'm asking
Right,
for.
right.
I'm
No.
open to any pranks.
That's only fair. I'll do something that's in my control.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Wow.
No, it will be, but good prank. I'm a good sport, you know. It's not like I'm not, you know. It's I didn't
Yeah,
have to
well,
change
it's
my
also-
phone number.
you're not
I
getting
thought
phone
at a
numbers.
certain point, I thought I was gonna have to change my number, but we got past that
But the
point.
calls
so-
have died down, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get any calls anymore, more than like just like spam.
Wow,
or
dude,
whatever.
that's so crazy.
I didn't
'Cause-
expect us to
'cause
find a
the
prankster.
fucking
I didn't
Borat
expect
gambit,
this as
dude,
not.
we're-
It's
We're
great.
just upstairs. James is like, Buffy, like, you have anything you want to get to in the pod you want to tell us so we don't forget?
That's right.
And you're like, I just want to talk about the board. You basically
Yeah,
say,
I was,
we'll get
I was
to
like,
it.
I just don't appreciate the accusations.
yeah. Still playing the victim, bro.
Oh,
Oh, top tier,
Wow.
top tier moment.
Shout out to Newbie too. Newbie, one of our players.
You newbie.
In the most loving way.
Newbie helped me out for sure.
Yeah.
That
And
is
I was thinking of
great.
doing at the same time doubling down on Rob and having people call him and
Oh, that
be
would
like,
be chaos.
"Is this the Krusty Krab?"
Oh,
Rob
bro.
would have been a bad sport about it though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's
Rob
fucking
is spiteful.
Yeah, that's why I texted a few people,
That's how you know it's true.
and then the only person who didn't answer me was Chris. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna give Chris a second chance. Texted him again, no answer. And I was like, after the day went by, the next day I printed like 10 copies.
Oh, so it was because he didn't
I
answer.
was right.
Oh yeah.
I was
You're
right.
100% right.
Because he didn't answer my phone call was because it was really between like him or Rob.
Yeah.
But I just I knew Rob wouldn't have been a good sport about
No.
it.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have changed his number.
He would have changed his
away.
number, but the thing that he would have done back to you probably wouldn't have been something that was like.
Yeah. Well, if he
within
changed
play.
his number, I would have never said anything.
Yeah.
If he was
You don't
like,
have to at that
if it was
point, yeah.
Rob, I probably would have never said anything
Right.
because it's like I know that I can like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
there's
dude.
much safer space than Rob. Rob would have like slave trade talks on me, I'd be flagged by the freaking
Robert,
IRS.
Yeah, you don't
Probably
even
the
know
FBI,
what goes on in this
G would
world.
be knocking on
to
my door.
even- yeah,
Man.
Feds there in no time.
That's nuts, dude. Because I've been like a bystander next to you the whole time, and I'm like going crazy because you were like the prime suspect, but then I'm like no, like Buffy's like out of all your friends, like you're like a good friend. I feel like, which like we're all, like they're all good friends, but like I just like I don't think you would do that, but then you go back and forth because like you kind of have that personality, like you know you are good. Clearly, you're a good prankster. So, but I'm glad we all have closure. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Pro move.
I'm just glad that you're not. I'm just glad you're not getting phone calls anymore.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
There did hit a certain point where I was like, I mean, I was literally texting guys like, "Hey, if you know where they are, you got to tear them down. Like, help me out, man." I was legitimately like,
Because it was like I think I was still getting them like 2-3 weeks. Like they were coming in like
Shit,
every
man.
day. So I was getting desperate in the group chat. I was like, dude, I'm not even like mad. Just please somebody take him down.
that's when you said that I was like, dude, I think I literally cannot do this. So I was just like, I gotta muster through this. I gotta ask my boys to take him down. Like,
Oh my god.
I was like, I really don't know how to like solve this, but I'm gonna try in any way to like resolve this.
It's like you created a monster. You're trying to like.
But
break
you
it
kept
down.
your cool though, and you like behind the scenes was you were doing certain things, and it waited until just now. We all paused. We're like, "Is he serious?" Like, this is-
Buffy was like packing his bags for this trip, like thinking about this moment. Like
it was great. It was great.
that's
Dude,
when I
like
can go on the
this-
pod, and I'm just gonna come clean.
Like the way everything came
Hysterical.
together is like it should be a movie script. Honestly,
Could be.
it's too like perfect for like. Because like I wasn't far at my thinking at all. Like I was spot,
yeah,
I was spot on.
And then like
I know.
we were on FaceTime with Rob, and you're like, "Yo, and you said that
Rob's
you
a
knew-
snitch. Rob's a
we're
Rob's a
trying to,
little
like-
Not to
snitch.
talk to. So I was on FaceTime with him.
Yeah, I told him.
When he texted you that.
Oh yeah, he goes, "Hey, I'm going to South Carolina. Send me some of the flyers." I'm like, "You're an idiot, dude." Like, first off, I know I can't. I was like, "I know I can't trust you." Second off, like,
Yeah.
this is right up your avenue to be like,
Yeah, the
yeah,
snake, yeah.
I need the flyers because I'm going somewhere else. Me sending the flyer. I actually was thinking I should have said like Chris's prank flyer, and then it just been a
yeah.
Picture of me. Yeah.
I was
That
I
was
was
perfect.
saying for him to say like, "Yo, Connor told me like,
yeah.
when are you gonna tell him?" or like something like that. I don't know if that would have got you because
No,
it's hard to trust
Rob's
Rob.
Rob's a bitch. I
Yeah,
would have
you
never
can't.
caved into Rob.
Yeah, I was fishing. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. We'll see if he
Wow,
comes.
dude. That's
comes through,
crazy.
clean. Jeez, man,
That's great.
that's a lot to take in. But
You're making that face this whole time, bro. If you're watching, go back and just look at Buffy's face before he says like, I'm like,
yeah,
I should have picked up on it again, but I was like, I don't know.
you
Like,
you should plug in this edit too, like where they could find that clip. Put like
yeah,
a
I'm
timestamp.
sure I'll have.
Yeah, no, do that,
that
shit.
person
Be
do that.
productive. Figure it out.
Wow, that's some serious
Why,
demands.
why do I always get
I
shit?
don't know. It just got really aggressive right now. You
Nah,
got some
because I'm
work.
sick of it.
You don't even watch.
Nah, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
watch.
If you do,
What do you mean?
you watch the podcast. You
Yeah.
film watch.
Film watch?
That's why I call it film watching.
Like we're
It's accurate.
yeah,
It's like watching the
we're,
film.
We're like quarterbacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Not all the time.
I think you're eating.
You watch every episode?
No, I
You're
don't.
talking
I
like you
don't.
talk when you.
You don't know me, bro.
I do. I clearly do.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Well, if you're
no.
looking for the clip from when you were talking about the prank originally,
Oh.
I think it's like 1738 of that episode. I know it by heart. Oh,
1738
it
of
fires
that?
me up, dude. Every so
Do you
often I'll go back and I'll watch. It's like 11 minutes of
I
it. It
think the name,
fires
the
me up.
title. Of the
We're gonna
name-
have to
the
put 'em both
episode is
together.
The Borat Gambit or something, or no?
It's
I
like
don't-
pranks,
Something
something,
with
and
Borat.
something.
Oh, the episode. The
Oh,
title
man.
with pranks.
When you saw the title of the episode, what went through your mind?
I just immediately was like,
they're talking
I
about
went right
your
to it.
masterpiece.
I was fired up, and then I was waiting for it. I was like, damn, I'm surprised they didn't start with this. And then you were just like, I got something on me that I got to talk about.
Yeah,
I was like turning up the speakers. I was like, bring it in, bring it in.
Yeah, I mean, how often is it that like you get to do a prank on a friend that does a podcast that you get to watch?
Yeah, that was
See his.
like
that was really the best
stress.
part about it. Because it's one thing to get like a text every so often, but it was another thing to have you
It's like
sit
we're
here
putting
and like
this out on our
break it
fucking
all
episode.
down.
Yeah, I was literally getting
Oh,
into my
man.
thought process. Oh man.
Once you said it was your dad, I legitimately had tears coming down my face.
there's like like you in your head just like laughing. Like, God, terrible.
No.
Oh man.
Great.
No one appreciated that more. Than
You
did.
you played it
There's
good
no
though
way.
too. You were like, oh, that would be the ultimate. Like,
That's how you know it's kind of like a really good prank, because it's like you start to feel bad.
That was
for a
gold
second.
too.
Yeah.
That was gold too. We'll recap it. After.
yeah.
The fact
gonna
that
have to.
you
We're
got
not
to
gonna
came
recap
on
it,
and
so you
say
guys
it
have
too,
to
and
relive
admit
it again. But
Yeah.
I was
Holy-
holding
I
out
set
for
you
as
up.
long as
I was like,
can.
whoever did it is a coward if they don't reveal themselves. Your face, you're about to bust.
It's great.
He goes, okay, then I did it. Oh man, that's gold.
That is great.
All right, man.
But yeah, what
Let's,
else do we have
let's
to talk
keep
about
rolling.
on,
Well,
on this show right now?
Let's do you what have you been up to since the last show? Like, what's anything in particular? Anything interesting? Freaking.
Just working my bag off, really.
That's it, huh?
All I do, like, when I'm back in Florida, literally all I do is just work, survive. That's about it.
That's it, huh?
Just trying to get through the
How
season.
many days a week you work?
I usually
Varies.
work, say a month is 30 days, I'll probably work 29 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that on like? Is right now different compared to when you're down there working? Is it like?
Oh, yeah.
How's
this
the
is-
hours and?
This is nothing. I mean, it's all, my whole job is just task oriented. So, I mean, realistically, I could take a couple more days off. Like, I could take off whenever, every Sunday or something like that, and be like, guys, I'm not coming in. But unless I really need to not come in, I know that if I come in, even if I just open the doors for the guys and I show up to work for 2 hours, and I say, you know what, guys, come in, ice tub, a hot tub, gym's open. If you need to come in and like do recovery or whatever it may be, do whatever you got to do. But if I'm swamped in paperwork, I'm like, look, unless you're like freshly injured and I really need to do like one-on-one therapy with you, or
Right.
unless we have like a specific plan where we're going through like a specific movement screening with you, which the movement screening was actually huge. I don't know if I spoke about that last time, but I've just compiled a couple different textbooks, put it together, and then we had maybe 10 guys on like specific programs to reduce like just day-to-day nagging injuries, like soft tissue injuries, stuff that could be prevented. And we got banged up, but it was all like contact injuries, all from the boards or another player or something like that. So it actually like really good results with that in terms of like there was no, everyone's adductors were in shape, hip flexors were good, like rotator cuffs were in pretty good shape. Unless guys were getting legitimately banged up, they were like in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So
That's something like you implemented?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's great.
yeah. So that was all that last summer was going through that process, and then throughout this year fine tuning it. Especially with like the older guys who like there's one guy in particular, and it hit a certain point where I was like, man, like I got to sit down with this kid and be like, hey, like we have to figure it out because you're not gonna last another season, let alone the rest of this one. Like,
Yeah.
like you want to play for another 3 years or whatever it may be, 3 to 5 years. It's like, hey, we really have to dial in like what we're doing on the day to day, and like get a very good idea as to what you need. And then the funny thing is the day that I spoke with our physical therapist who deals with him a fair amount because he's always banged up. And then he comes in the next day. He goes, hey, like is there anything else that we can do for me to like feel better on a day-to-day basis? And I was like, dude, I legit, like, we just had a conversation. Like the sports med staff just spoke about this last night. I was like, so I put him through all the screening processes, and his injury ended up being that he dealt with the rest of the season was kind of something that was like what are you gonna do about it? Like you
Unavoidable.
still got to play hockey.
Right. Okay.
But it was like the rest of him, that the day-to-day stuff that he would be feeling, from what he told me, got a lot better. And so he was pretty well bought in. And having those guys, like the guys who are heavier in minutes and like higher up in the standings or in the ladder on the team,
Right.
like actually buy into this, helped out with the guys who are like, oh wow, like maybe I want to do something like that. And if some guy wasn't like broken and hadn't had a good process, I was like, hey, if you don't typically have these issues, like do what you're doing. But I knew certain guys, I knew older guys. And I was like, all right, we have to really iron down because we need you guys. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
We need you guys to last the season because when the postseason comes, you got to put your body on the line.
So it's like focusing on injury prevention
Yeah.
opposed
That's
to
huge,
being
but that's
injury
also
prone.
probably like things that these guys, because you don't have like the same guys every year. It's kind of like a revolving.
Yeah, there's
door in
a fair
sense.
amount of turnover. Even throughout the season, there's sometimes a lot of turnover.
Right, so those guys probably take whatever you're,
yeah.
giving them, and they, implement it there, and they could
Yeah.
extend their careers. So
Yeah.
that's
Do
huge.
you know if like other trainers do that? Is that like a common thing, or do you think like you kind of like
Innovatively.
reinvented the wheel here?
No, I definitely didn't reinvent any wheels, but it's hard to give guys the time that they need when you're a solo man running the show, because you're setting up doctor's appointments, you're setting up MRIs, you're dropping guys off at surgery, picking guys up at surgery if they need, you're doing exit physicals, entrance physicals throughout the season, like all this paperwork that's on top of everything, claim forms. You're dealing with like collateral of like guys getting hurt, and then it's different in different states, and some guys know that, and sometimes they can get some cash out of the team.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, like my whole job is like, I just want to be there for, it's like a balance between, I need to do right by the players, because the more that you do right by the players, the better that they're going to treat the team at the end of the day, because we're in a pretty good state where the team is pretty well protected from like lawsuits and stuff like that. But if we were like, say we were in New York or California, like the collateral in that is obnoxious. I don't know how teams, teams don't really last in those states
Right.
because of the fact, unless you're making that much money, like if you're playing hockey, like it's hard to be a minor league team and really survive in those states, because the players are entitled to so much in those, rightfully so, like
Yeah, injury.
fine by them, like
Putting their body out on the line, but at the same time, other guys are doing it and
Yeah.
not getting that same kind of collateral.
so it's a balance. Like if you treat the guys right, they treat the team right, but you also have to make sure that you're putting the team in a place where they're not doing too much, because it's like it's also a business at the same time. So
Right.
Yeah.
that was something I definitely learned throughout this season, was kind of like, how do I balance, how do I do the best for both parties? And I think people see that, and it's like, it's pretty genuine that I want the best for everyone.
Right.
And it's pretty easy for guys to be like, hey, I know you're trying to do right by me, and the front office does a really good job with that too. So it's nice when you have like a well-rounded system where
Yeah.
it's like, just do things the right way, and things go a lot easier, and the
Right.
team has success. So
Yeah, no, that's got to be nice to like work in an environment where everybody is just trying to get better every day.
Yeah.
So that's great.
What's your biggest goal, like right now, career wise?
just continuing to be happy. It's really all it is.
That's a unique answer.
Yeah, there's no like, it's not a milestone. I mean, yeah, there are like certain milestones I like to hit. Like I'm doing my dry needling, like the acupuncture, similar to that. Dry needling this.
Okay.
So like those are goals of mine that I want to get done. Just continuing to expand my toolbox. But there's not like, it's not like I want to be in the show, because
There's
it's like,
specific, kind of
it's-
outcome.
because as long as I'm doing, it's just like the players, like, all right, yeah, you could be 16 and want to be in the show, but what are you doing today to get into the show?
Yeah.
So
I see that.
all I'm worried about is like, all right, so like today I did what I needed to do personally, professionally, and as a son, as a brother, as a friend. And as long as I do what I need to do to be a good person, good things come back around, just continue to grind it out.
Yeah.
And when the time comes, I have a pretty good idea. Is like, this is when it's time to make a move. This is when it's time to do something else. So once it happens and once there's the opportunity to progress, I'll know when it's time just because I've always had a good feel on that.
Intuition.
So, yeah,
Instinct, yeah.
I'm not in a rush to get anywhere. I know some guys are in a rush. I know some guys don't like. I'm very blessed to be where I am. So I'm not. I was in a place when I was working here in New York where I was very lucky to get that opportunity, but it was for sure a short-term opportunity where it was like, all right, I have to take this, get the experience, and just try to enjoy it best I can. But there were a lot of really tough days where it was like, man, I don't know if I'm really built for this anymore. I don't know if this is really what I want to do. But you work your day in the part where you want to do it, and you're like, this is what I want to do. Like I love this.
Right.
So I have to just continue to grind it out to get to a place where I can do that. Finally got to where I am now. And sure, there's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have a second me on the staff, or I'd be the second me on the staff. Or it'd be nice to, work with higher profile athletes would be cool. But it's all about the process. It's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, process. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and if you feel that you're doing the right thing every day, you know, like that's a good foundation and basis to build off of. So.
Yeah, it adds up. There's always one thing each year that like last year was the functional movement screening of trying to compile a different resources and say, all right, this is what we're going to do. And then throughout the year, getting the reps of like, all right, we have this guy, and now we're going to retest him. And then, and then like this upcoming summer or this upcoming season, I think it's going to be more baseline testing for the guys. Try to figure out, we do a max bench 135. How many reps can you do? Is that really sport specific? I understand we're going to still do it. Like, it just is what it is. It's a benchmark. Have you been working out? Like, how strong are you right now? Whatever. I get that it's like, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah, but what can we implement at a budget cost and for the equipment that we have and easily reproducible with high high return but high reliability. Like, all right, so if I did this and if I had a student come in and he or she was doing it, like how accurate is this going to be between people. I forget there's a more specific, there's a more professional term.
Yeah.
But it's like interratability or whatever it is from person to person. Is this like, so if I have a guy, he comes off of high ankle sprain, MCL sprain, he bangs up his hip capsule. It's like, all right, well, last season your single leg squat was, when you were coming in, it was 7 on one side, 10 on the other. So you already kind of know there's a bit of an imbalance there.
Right.
Let's work on that. That's in their preventative program. So now we're going throughout that process. All right, so now you banged up your left side. It'd be nice to get like consistent feedback where it was, or consistent retesting where it was, all right, every 2 months, maybe we go through the testing again to see where guys are at, make sure guys aren't dropping off. A lot of this stuff that I like is through the force plates. So guys jumping on top of the force plates, doing stuff with that. There's different handheld like dynamometers, like where it's sensing how much pressure it is. So it's giving you actual feedback. It's not like that's strong, that feels similar. It's like, all right, well, you're pushing out, when I'm testing your quad strength, you're giving me, whatever, say 50 pounds of force. On the other side, you're giving me 47 pounds of force. Like, all right, that's pretty close. Like, I don't have to worry too much about that. Your internal rotation on one side is like, oh, like, that's brutal. Like, you can barely even do that. It's like, all right, well, what's going on here? Dig deeper on that. Find solutions for how they do that. Right. It's really like the first time where I went from, all right, something's walking through my door. How do I address it? To, okay, I have guys coming in. I kind of know what they're doing. If they come in with something, I have a good background where it's like, all right, now I know what to do. So now it's like, how do I get ahead of the ball? Keep these guys healthy, especially with what we had with an older group last year. It's like, how do we manage these guys throughout the season? And they have a pretty good idea as how they want to do it themselves. But that was my biggest thing last season. I think going into this season is for sure better return to play. The dry needling for sure, like expanding my therapeutic toolbox. and probably emergency care, doing more ride-alongs with EMS and seeing some more of stuff like that, because that's something that, maybe you do spine boarding a couple times a year, maybe only once on the ice to practice with your group, but it's the actual occurrence of an emergency and seeing it and helping is like, once it's, for me at least, once it flips and there's an actual situation, just I go into game mode. There's no thoughts. It's just straight
Just in there.
Right.
all right, this is like now we're just in it. Like,
Yeah.
and
Interesting.
I have a
There's
pretty
like a mental side to it.
yeah.
You
as
can
well.
do that. You can just like ride along EMS with EMS. Or?
Yeah, well, they do that for people who are trying to get their hours and become EMS. So
Okay.
usually they allow people to just do ride-alongs. So when I go back to Florida, that's going to be like the main thing that I want to do in my free time is to ride along and see,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, whatever. I've had one guy with type 1 diabetes, one with like borderline type, he was like pre-diabetic. So I had two different players who was like, all right, maybe I'm not really going to see much diabetes. Maybe I'm not going to see much high blood pressure. Maybe I'm not going to see much like arrhythmias and whatever it may be. But we have front office, we have owners, we have doctors, we have fans, we have support staff. It's like, if something happens there on a practice day, they're like, well, we hire a medical guy. Like, you come in, tell us what to do. I have all these different medications in my cabinet. How do I make the most of them? Like, do I know exactly what to do? Do I know the indications as to why to use this, how to do this? So it's that process that I don't really get to see too often, and you practice it really thoroughly, probably once a year. Maybe you get a couple more at like the other stuff, spine boarding and whatnot, but
Yeah, well, that's good that you want to do that because there's probably a lot of others in your position that, are only doing that once a year, and then like when they're tasked with an emergency like that, they're not ready for it. So that's sick.
it's a like the scope of the practice is a lot. There's a lot that comes under my umbrella, and I definitely like some things more than others, but the thing to me that was the number one was having a thorough emergency action plan, making sure everyone knew what they were supposed to do and we were on the same page and everyone was connected, everyone had radios, because when shit hits the fan, it's like, whatever, dude, you strained your groin. When this guy comes down, he's he doesn't have a heartbeat, or he's not breathing anymore, or he can't feel his legs. It's like, we need to be at least on the same page. If we practice it enough, that's the bare minimum. If we get a lot more practice at it,
Right.
lovely. But we at least have to be on the same page with that enough experience as a group. And the hard thing is trying to get the same EMS at every game, but for the most part, it's usually the same people. But it's that process of
Yeah, well, because it's, in an emergency scenario like that, it's a matter of seconds. It could be, right? So,
I mean, just like the Damar Hamlin thing, it's like, boom. It's like, do you know that you're supposed to get the AED? Who's supposed to get the AED? Where's the AED? Like, all right, well, are you the first one out there? Am I the first one out there? Like, even, do you have experience cutting the jersey? Like, jerseys are different. They're, the main patch is like, some idiots might be trying to like, I mean, they're not idiots, but maybe you're like stuck in the moment and you're trying to cut through this big ass patch when it's like, dude, the fabric, like just go around it and split it open and then get to that, like even that process of like taking the gear off. It's like, it's all, and then be able to time that and say, you should, the best results for an AED, I think it's 3 minutes from heart stopping to AED shocking. Got to get in the first 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, it goes south pretty quickly. So you're sitting there doing compressions, you're getting the gear off the guy, someone else is cutting it, someone else starting the AED, someone else bringing in EMS. So it's like a whole process, or even like a practice scenario. Say something happens, say, God forbid, a coach goes down. It's like, who here knows what to do, where the AED's at? Like, so it's all that stuff where you're just prioritizing, or you're on the road, something happens, on like maybe someone's taken something in the back, and it's like, oh, I thought I was maybe smoking weed, but ended up that it wasn't something. And I mean, you go into some of the cities that are in different areas, and if you bring something and you buy something in that area, you're like, man, like I don't know if I'd really be, I don't know if I'd be consuming that if I were you.
Right. Smart decisions.
Stuff has gone wrong in general, but especially with different teams throughout however long sports has been going on.
And
It's crazy because it's like those situations and scenarios you're talking about, like with DeMar Hamlin, like you don't even like those trainers and EMS is different, but those trainers that are the first ones out there, like you have experience, but how many, like they could probably count on their hands how many times that has happened. You know what I mean? So it's not something you get a lot of reps or practice in. Obviously, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But
that's
why it's crazy, because it's like you want to be the best you can at your craft and what you do, but that's like a scenario that you hope doesn't happen, and doesn't happen enough to where like you have muscle memory and know exactly what to do, and it's based on the situation.
That's exactly what I was thinking about, like
That's
muscle,
like pretty
muscle
crazy.
memory, because like I think of a Navy soldier, how they have to know how to use their gun, how to you see them when they do those on the table and whatnot with their gun. I feel like, because when you were saying that about cutting through, I believe that it has to be like muscle memory, in the sense like you have to really just like, all right, this is a procedure here, and obviously it's custom to the very situation, right? It could be different, but there's probably significant similarities to where it's like, all right, this is part of the process of how we do it. Interesting.
Yeah, to me that's crazy, because like for me it's like you learn with repetition. You know what I mean? That's like that for most people, but like there's not a lot of jobs that are like that. Like EMS is different because like they're doing that on a more normal basis.
Yeah.
In sports, like it's good that doesn't happen, and that's rare. But like the fact that you can't get the repetitions to be equipped as you can, and for like the most serious, toughest situation that could arise in your job, like I don't know, I'm getting myself nerve wracked over here.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's difficult because there's only one of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if it's a game, there's at least two of us, typically EMS. And if you're not in a high enough standard of sport, maybe there's not even EMS.
Mm-hmm.
And you're tasked with like the initial eval, the emergency care, and if it's not emergency care, then it's managing whatever else it may be, maybe lacerations or like all of that first aid type of care.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, all right, it's a muscle strain, it's a maybe a tendon tear or ligament sprain or whatever it may be. And now it's like, all right, well now I have to deduce that it came down to, all right, this is the injury that we're dealing with. All right, this is the time frame that we're dealing with.
Right.
Now how do we rehab it? All right, or do we need imaging? Like, do I have to send it to a doc? Is it something crazy? Is it something I could just tape? Is it something we put back together?
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, well, no, you're out of the game. All right, now we have to worry about rehabbing this kid. And then you go through the whole rehab process. It's like, all right, well, also, let's add in some therapeutic modalities. Should we be starting with heat? Or should we do some ultrasound? Should we do some laser? Should I have him, there's a million different modalities. Should we be doing dry needling? Or there's specific manual techniques that I want to do on this guy, a certain joint mobilization that I want to do. So there's so much under the umbrella where it's like where do you even begin with this?
It's a lot of
And it's like
responsibility.
it's your responsibility from the second it happens to getting them back on the ice.
Yeah, that's the coolest part about it. Is I'm the first guy to go over to them and ask what's wrong, and I'm the last guy to say like, hey, like, how do you feel? Are you ready to go? And they're like, yeah, I feel ready to go. It's like, good, because I think that you look good. Like, I'm fired up for you to play tomorrow. And they're like, yeah, like I'm
like
fucking
that. That's
back.
probably the best
And
answer,
you
best
got,
response
like, the
you can
great
get.
personality too, like
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty flatlined, especially while I'm doing stuff like that, because it's when you're. I mean, I don't know if like I don't know what like too low would be. I guess like being like pessimistic, like something comes over and you're like, oh man, like this is probably surgery, and it's like, dude, like I have a paper cut. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
Or if it's like, oh no, he's good, and like, oh, don't worry about it.
Just like
and,
brushing things off.
And the guy is like, what year is it? 2017. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, right.
Put you back out there. It's like, oh, well, what are we
Hop on
doing
back,
here? So it's tough to have that balance, but I do think it's like the evenness I have while I'm working that people are kind of more inclined to be like, oh, okay, like if you think I'm good, like I probably am good.
Right.
And it's always a gamble to a certain extent because it's hard when you're trying to put guys back in and it's like, hey, I feel good, I've done this, and then you're like, all right, you're testing and retesting and you're putting throughout the return to play process, and sometimes it's just like boom, one little thing, you're like, oh my god, dude,
Son of a
like
bitch.
we spent so much time rehabbing, so much time doing this stuff, and we all felt confident about it. Coaches said that he looked good on the ice, like all his testing came back. Our physical therapist said that he looks good in rehab. He's like, I'm good with him, I don't need him anymore. Stuff that I'm doing with him, strength conditioning coaches are like, hey, he looks good while he's out there. And sometimes you just like,
Yeah.
well, it is what it is.
Yeah. there's
And
nothing
the
you can
players
do
know
about
it too, or it's like,
Is that in like? Are you saying like in their last like rehab stuff, or like they go back out and they get hurt?
sometimes it's both.
Yeah, either or.
Interesting.
So I've had guys where it's, their first contact practice back and they feel good, and then they do another one, they feel good, they do another one, they feel good, and they do another one, and it's just like, I caught a rut. And you're like, fuck me, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Are
all you needed.
Are you kidding me?
Well, because imagine like I could imagine that any little thing could throw you off on that day that you were feeling perfect, but
Yeah.
then like even just a little bit lack of sleep or something, not clear headed,
Yeah.
open yourself up.
Yeah,
Just one more. What is that dry needling? It's just like acupuncture.
it's more or less acupuncture.
Okay, it's pretty cool.
It's
They
they have
like those suction cup things as well.
the
Or is-
cupping. No, I do that, but you don't. I mean, I don't know if you technically need a certification for it, but it's not rocket
Is
science.
that's just like to keep the muscles, right?
It's hard. A lot of people say that it doesn't work. Science doesn't back it up. And if a guy thinks it works, it works. Like who gives a
Yeah.
So some guys like to
Placebo
do it.
effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some guys like to use it like if they feel like they have a tight low back. There's two different thoughts behind it. One is like expanding, so there's more blood flow to the area, and that's what ends up with the bruising. And then there's the other one that's so you have these layers of connective tissue fascia that go over your muscles, and they connect. There's fascia that goes from your toe all the way to this finger. Like there's different anatomy trains is like the big textbook that really dives into that. So some guys it's like, all right, well I'm feeling tight, and it's like, all right, well where are you feeling tight? What motions are you feeling tight? And sometimes you can do cupping along like a certain train, and it's like, all right, well if you're dealing with over rotation to this side, it's like, all right, well we can cup along that fascial train. So then when you pull on that skin, on the fat, on the tissue that's beneath it, down to the muscle, it pulls the fascia off of the muscle, and then when you let go, it comes back down and it relays itself better. And with the promotion of blood flow, it helps maybe repair if there is micro damage to the area. That's like the thought process for cupping. Some guys like it, some guys don't. I don't really think too intensely about it, about like, the efficacy's not there. It's like,
Like he
if the
wants
guy
to-
wants cupping, like it takes 7 minutes to do. It's like
Yeah.
it's not that big.
Right. It's some form of treatment. It's doing something.
Yeah.
Or even if like I'm
Regardless.
doing soft tissue on a guy's hamstring, and it's like I don't feel anything there, but it's like, hey, you know what? Like, how'd that feel to you? And they're like, oh, hamstring feels better. It's like, yeah, it's like I didn't feel too much there while I was doing it, but it did feel like it loosened up by the end of the treatment. Like, if you want to do it again, let me know. But I think that you'll be feeling good after this. And like, all right, cool. Never see him again. It's like, it's all I'm
A lot
looking
of
for.
it's like
Yeah.
a placebo effect too. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, to some degree, I guess.
It's a lot of mind state with these guys.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes they just need a little TLC. Nothing
That's
too
it.
crazy. It's just
Yeah.
like, all right, well, we need you thinking that you're at least good.
Right.
Right.
You would like everything to be backed by science, and this is just how. But 90% of it is how they feel,
Right.
how they think they're gonna perform. Like, all right, you can get the extra 10% of them out of it, but like the
Right.
first 90%,
They gotta want to play.
Yeah, the first 90% is like get these guys to a state where they're like, hey, I think like I'm gonna play well tonight. I feel like I've done everything I can. And then with the extra 10% of whatever I can do, it's like, all right, let's boost them in whatever way, sneak it in if we have to, like get them to do like their specific warm ups or rehab or strengthening.
Right.
Where it's like doesn't have to be 4 hours in the gym, foam rolling, stretching, and then doing my activation and then doing my strength work afterwards. It's like, man, if you can get in there for 30 minutes beforehand, foam roll, do whatever you have to do, activate in whatever way that you have to, do your rehab, and then go out, skate, feel good, and then after like whatever, 2-3 times a week, do your squats, do your deadlifts, do a bench, call it a day.
That's
Like,
it.
it's not rocket science. And sometimes it's nice for us with our strength coaches over at Heat, the training facility, because they'll grab them and they'll hold their hands through a workout. And like that's nice for me to like give guys like, hey, if you're on the IR, you really can't do too much. It's like, all right, I can give you a little bit of something. Or if we're on the road, to send them up to Mike up at Heat, and he does a great job with like, all right, I know what you're going through, and then all right, let's figure out what we need you to do, what your deficits are. He kind of knows the guys, so it's nice for him to give them whatever they need, hold their hands through it, because sometimes the guys don't feel like doing it. But if you say, hey, the team's doing a team lift, they're like, all right, I'll do something then. And it's like, maybe that's the only thing they did all day. Right. But you know what? At least they did something, and like something is for sure better than nothing.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And a lot of things too. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the inside delve into the athletic training world, and I certainly did.
I find it is.
Yeah,
I kind of want to
like
like
posted on this.
It's pretty cool.
Start watching some highlights of like athletic trainers out there, like getting down to business.
There's definitely like, is there like a goat of athletic trainers? Is it not a thing?
I really like the guy, I believe his name is Jim Ramsey. He was with the Rangers for like 25
familiar.
years. Now he's with the Canadians. And they had a round table talk with about the international tournaments, the Olympics coming up, the Four Nations Cup, and just like
all that shit,
communication with other guys and the setup and the whole. And, it's a show. Like it's their first time doing it. They're definitely understaffed. They're definitely not doing enough. There's not enough. There's for sure not enough space to host 4 teams. Are you out of your mind? Especially to the level that the NHL is. So it's cool to hear them say like behind the scenes, like what, like obviously, like fantastic spectacle for the fans.
Yeah.
But like logistically, you're like, all right, like. But everyone knows.
What's your resources?
Yeah, everyone knows that like maybe things aren't as smooth as they need to be the first time around, and like even at that level, like people are human. It's like fuck, like we never thought about that, or like, hey, did we need to write a protocol for absolutely everything? No, because some things are just like, hey, if I have your player, like I know to text you if something happens to him, or if he goes down the hallway.
Yeah,
it's like, and I take a look at him. I know I'll text you and say, hey, don't worry about it. It's XYZ. So it's cool to see like they're behind the scenes.
The trainers were kind of like working together because they were understaffed.
Mm-hmm. Well, not because they were on, but specific teams were, like say USA had, or I don't know if it
like
was
the trainer from the team.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like per location or per team, but say Montreal had Jim Ramsey, and say they had. However, someone from St. Louis, and I was like, all right, that's your main 2 guys. Maybe there's a third guy from like Laval, who's like the local AHL team. All right. So now you have 3-4 guys, and now you have probably 3 or 4 equipment managers. But the amount of equipment, and it's really that stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit less like. I mean, it does get tight with like treatment times and doing stuff and trying to get guys like through their routines and the whole 9.
Right.
That is what they said that was a challenging point for them. But the hardest thing is really like, where do I put all this? There's so much gear, so much There's not enough locker rooms.
Yeah,
There's
I
not
mean,
enough
hockey
storage.
definitely has the most amount of gear.
It's crazy.
And,
Yeah.
Like, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, just to say this, it seems like you guys do a fair amount of risk evaluation, and between the scannings that you've implemented in this previous year into this year, and now kind of with the emergency action plan, it seems like you kind of have your hands filled. And my degree is in enterprise risk management. So as you're going about this, I was just thinking about like, wow, people that have a background in risk evaluation in any type of sport must like be always looking for what I commonly call what's commonly called the black swan, which I'm sure you might have even heard that term, but just a matter of like thinking about the impossible, the unthinkable, the thing that was that you would never even thought would happen, which probably would really help your job. Most things I would imagine are common, but like you said, like sometimes some left field things happen in your line of work. So commend you for that. That's really crazy.
Yeah, and it's I mean, for the most part, like when I was a certain amount of years working in a sport, you kind of know what you're getting into. I mean, there's obviously like but if you have a good, like I have a great support staff, it's a lot easier to manage those black swans.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly more logistically, where it's like there was like when we were a new program at LIU, it's just logistically how are we gonna do the day to day? How are we gonna do XYZ? That's honestly more of the black swan than anything else, especially when you're on the road and it's like, all right, like guys have their routines. It's like now we're in a completely new environment. No one's been in Fort Wayne, Indiana before. We're playing whoever.
Right.
And it's like, all right, well, this is my first time looking in the locker room. This is my first time seeing the athletic training room. This is the first time me seeing the ice. Like, I'm trying to skim through their emergency action plan. It's like that
Wow.
stuff when you're on the road. That's why it's so difficult for situations like that where it's like if you're hosting a world tournament, like a Four Nations tournament or something like that, where you're having all these guys who you don't know in like a place where there's too many people around, and like you might have not had thought like, oh, okay, like this is exactly what we need. This is my first time going through it, whatever it may be. And just like the logistics behind getting this shit off the ground is like
It's a lot of moving
it's
parts.
honestly the hardest part. That's why I was so happy to go to a place that had this whole thing coming along already.
Right.
Because like trying to figure everything out from scratch at Long Island, it was fun because I was the first person to do it. It was a really cool experience. But like, was I happy to just go somewhere where it was like I got my docs, I know where to get, like
it's
everything's
also,
laid
like,
out.
That's not really part of your job description, right? Like to a certain extent, like to have to do all of that, or at least by yourself, right?
It's a little shaky. I mean, it definitely is within like my parameters is to get a lot of that together. Well, because some of it's like design. It's like, all right, well, where's like my space? Like, all right, well, I need to design a space and allocate space. It's like, all right, well, this is now my space. It's like, all right, well, who's our doc? Like, sometimes when you're starting up like that, being part of a university, it's usually, or even like a specific organization, it's bigger than me. It's like, who's paying us to go to their facility?
Right.
It's like who's doing the ad deal. So sometimes it comes down to that, with a mix of like, all right, well, this is the best doc around, and they are paying the second best. It's like, now are we gonna go to the third best doc or the third best group and take the most money, which is like really not that much more? And it's like, let's do the balanced deal here. At least that's what I would like to say. It's like, all right, let's do the balanced deal here.
So, like,
Let's
the
get a better process in where we have a more consistent face come around and the whole nine. So
Yeah, for sure.
it definitely helps in that aspect where having a group down here really help us out the way that they do compared to where it's like always on the fly, which it's always going to be on the fly in what I do. It's
It's just the nature of it.
yeah.
Well, interesting. This guy's causing a friggin' ruckus over here.
You help people, Buff, and that's
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the
part
how
of
we
the
do it
culture.
way.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm glad you made it all this way to back to your roots, man. Even though I know you hate it here, it's all good.
Yeah, this place sucks.
We still we still love you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything for your notes, or are we skipping the notes?
I think you're wrapping up. Or like, hey, unless you got.
I mean, unless you got something to talk
You
about.
know what they say, Cristo? They say, don't assume because you make an ass out of you and me.
You're right.
Okay?
So which way are we gonna go here?
What do you hear? What do you say?
Fuck.
Welcome back to another edition of Nico's Notes. How we doing? I figure we got a good guest tonight. I figure we get a little controversial.
Only right.
All right.
Right? I mean, it's not controversial, but controversial is like it's like a shadow. It's like a shell of the word now. You know what I mean? Controversial is not actually controversial. It's only controversial to certain people. You know
Shadow
what I'm
of the
saying?
world. I kind of see where you're going with this.
It's like a shell. It's
like
a
it's-
shadow.
It's looks different on everyone.
Yeah, it's just like, but
Get to it though.
so, well, this first one's not controversial. The second one will get a little rowdy, but you're wearing a great overalls. Love it. USA. We got the flag right here. This past weekend was the 4th of July. America's birthday, Independence Day, right?
Fuck yeah, brother.
I saw this video that kind of just like annoyed me. This girl was, well, her video didn't annoy me as what she was saying about the people that annoyed me. She was basically saying like, if you're like, because of the direction people in this country have moved, like if you're like proud to be an American, you're like just like a radical Republican or just like this bad guy. That's like the picture they paint, which kind of just infuriates me because like it's like those people like don't want to celebrate the 4th of July. Like, you don't want to celebrate like
Those
America's
people are just
independence
complainers. They
and,
complain
like,
about every
and
aspect
the greatest
of their
country in the
life.
fucking world. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter red or blue what political party. It's like we're American. We're here. We're celebrating this country, man. We're celebrating this beautiful place.
Yeah, there's a lot of dickheads out there. They just.
I mean, if you want to say it plainly, I mean, that's it.
It's like if you're proud of if you like love your country, you're proud to be an American. It's like you're the bad. It's like you're like the villain now. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just ass backwards thinking. It's like you're in America.
Yeah.
You're texting or tweeting whatever you're doing from America on the phone you bought from. It was made
doesn't
in
matter.
wherever, but that's irrelevant. But like,
Self-fulfillment, man.
what do you want to do? You want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, it's the very fact that like you have the right to like actually say that out loud without getting like
Yeah, it's the ironic part.
backlash like in worse ways like in other countries you could, like I don't know. Just kind of struck me like be a little.
I think pride has taken many people far away from first off traditional beliefs, but also just one's ability to determine like or to have a good opinion, something that's kind of like more full instead of sounding shallow. Like, people don't really have a reason for not liking America, or at least they think they do, but it's kind of empty reasons. And then the same people are celebrating Pride in June, and well, dude, like you're not
Or
really
talking about
making
that
sense
Pride,
right now. You don't want to celebrate
Yeah.
something that's been celebrated a whole lot longer than Pride Month, and
Yeah,
that's a whole nother
but
conversation,
You
but-
also don't understand that you have that right in America because it's such a beautiful country to celebrate that pride or whatever the you want to celebrate, right?
well, I mean, let's also not be fooled. Like, look, I'll talk out of. I don't want to believe that I'm talking out of two sides of my mouth, but some may think that. You have the people that are proud to be an American. And then you have the people that are like on that side, but I kind of fall somewhere in between because I know there's a lot of dirty things that America does, and a lot of things. There's many things that other countries see from an outside perspective that's not exactly wrong. So it's like, what do you kind of hold on to? Do I think that we're still the kind of one of the greatest countries in the world? Yeah, probably. Is that fading? Probably more rapidly now than it's ever have in the history of America. That's a bigger conversation, but you know, be happy that you're alive and being able to be able to prosper in your own life instead of just like bashing. It's not
Right. That's what it comes down to. Everybody has something to complain about. You know, there needs to be a holiday for this and a holiday for that. Like, does it really affect your life that much?
If
there's
I
not,
was
like, a
like
day
so
for
pent up
something?
about not having or having a holiday,
Yeah.
shoot me,
I'll shoot you.
because that's not important.
What do you think,
I'll
Buff?
never.
Tell him straight.
Yeah, it's hard for me to. I think that you're definitely onto something when it's. You know, I'm proud of this country, but there's definitely more to improve on. That's a typical person who wants to get better. Like,
Sure.
I know it's good. It's not the best it can be, so let's try to continue to that, even if it's a lofty and maybe impossible goal.
Yeah.
You want to get to that point, and you know that people who are running this just it's shady.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the day-to-day people who, you know, may be more judgmental on one side or the other, or maybe like more prone to complaining or needing representation. I think it's hard when you're not in their shoes
Yeah. To say. Yeah.
to really understand how they feel, and it's also hard for them not in someone else's shoes to understand why they don't agree with why they feel like they, you know, I mean, there's an athletic trainers month. There's a whole month for athletic trainers. I don't think I do that much. Like, Jesus, do I really need a whole month? It's got 31 days in it. Do I really need that whole month?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I get to a certain point where, hey, this is whatever day. So, you know, here's acknowledgement to this community.
Yeah.
It's just continuing to provide awareness for things that may be going on around you that you may not think all too often about. But this is a group that is, I think it's more like an awareness thing. It's like, you could flip it on a commercial or something like that instead.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if they were selling pharmaceuticals, yeah, March, like,
Yeah.
you know, you need a whole month for March.
You
Like,
share it with a lot of other things too, though.
yeah, like,
Well, that's you know, it takes away the significance of like really
This is
celebrating something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that when there's
They
so
should.
many other.
National Noodle Month.
Because now it's like a charity. You know what I mean? Like now, like you shouldn't have made any month national anything month. You should stick to days.
Yeah. Everybody should have
Because,
just
Too much
you know,
for a
because there's only 12 months, and now what is important enough to deem you get a whole month?
Well, they're repeating months now.
That's what I'm saying. Now
It's
they're
shot.
doubling up, tripling up. It's like, you know, I don't know what to think anymore.
and certain things only call for a day. Like there's like,
Yeah.
I think there's like a boyfriend day and a girlfriend day or
There's
something.
National Pet
Shit,
Day, which
National
I would
Pet
love
Day.
to know who's in charge of picking those days.
I'm
'Cause
still
it's literally
wondering.
f***ing random.
There's definitely like a social society that's just
There's
running
definitely
the
Oh, they
show.
probably think
reason
they're so important.
behind the day.
Yeah.
They
Look at
probably
these
think
idiots.
their job matters
Start
so
giving money.
much. You know?
Yeah, that's not,
Um,
not wrong about that.
You have anything else to talk about?
but I do think I think it's difficult, and I think this goes to a lot of different aspects, where when you're in the, or if you're not, and it doesn't have to be, but if you're in the, it's hard to see outside of when you're just like,
Yeah.
you're in something and this is what you're looking at,
Yep.
and you can't see anything else, and this is the only thing, and this is what everyone else is doing, this is
Mm.
what's around you, and you don't have any time to think about anything else, and this is what everyone else is doing, and you're like, holy, it's hard to like.
Yeah.
You may never have the time or the day to take a step back and be like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it's way more difficult, and like life should be the easiest it's ever been, but it's filled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So always gonna be the shit.
I think that
yeah.
adds into some of it as well.
Yeah, that's
fair.
something like I've always tried to do is, which I think I do, on like in like the situation of like, you know, family, like this one's not talking to this one's upset with this one. In our family, I'll be like the mediator a lot of times, or like the negotiator, you know. And like I'm not gonna pick a side because there's two family members, and not even that you're both my family, but it's also like you both have reasons to be upset. It's not whether you're right or wrong, but you have reason to feel that this way. So my like negotiating tactic or like mediating tactic is to like, you know, well, he got upset because of this, and he's got this going on and this and that, and you also have every right to be upset based on this and that. But like, you know, so
Here I am over here trying to put together like what recent drama happened in the family.
Yeah. What happened?
What he's talking about. No, I'm just trying to piece it together. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I'm the lawyer. Like, it's ridiculous. What happens when I get mad at someone? Then what? Then you're all.
Then I probably step in. But
yeah, but
I'll just sit back.
I don't know. I always try to look at it from both sides, but that's a good, like, you even like going like that is a good way to show that, because that's.
I had a friend.
We don't do that all the time.
When the other day, and they asked me, how do you help someone who's battling substance abuse? And it's like gotten to the point where it's like, all right, well, like, how do you help someone like that? It's like, how do you get them to realize that they're in a situation where you have to step in and help them out?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you really don't.
Yeah.
You can't help someone like that. They have to want to help themselves.
Exactly.
But it really is like acknowledging, like, I don't know, it's hard because you have to say something, you want to say something, but it's like, what the do you even say to these people? Because they're so
the words,
they're so dialed in.
Yeah.
And I've been there before too, where it's maybe you're doing something, or you're stuck in this same routine, and then you don't even realize that it's bad for you anymore. You're just like, and then all of a sudden everything changes and you're like, oh my God, dude, like, what the was I thinking?
Yeah,
what was I doing for? And then sometimes that never happens, and then you just
Well, yeah, it's kind of like what you said. Like, sometimes people don't get that day or like even moment to just like understand what the is going on to then change it. So
yeah,
that's. I always say that you can't make someone do something they don't want to do.
yeah,
So
true.
But like,
yeah,
but it's sad, like, for those instances that like a lot of cases they have to like hit rock bottom or like beneath rock bottom to wake up, because that's what drugs will do to you.
Well, if you find yourself in a rehab, it's best to be considered a luxury, because you're given an actual chance at a restart. That you really think about it, in society, in your world, in your life, the things that you're working with, dealing with, you could have a job, not have a job, family, people, the circles that you're in. It just all of a sudden becomes that much harder to focus on the very thing that you got to do.
Yeah.
But now you're given a chance to, all obstacles are out of the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, Dan, pull it up.
Oh boy, what does he have for us right now?
There's this new term, and I think it's like a hack.
Like
What
a
is it,
hack?
Dan?
And is this brain rot, or is it an actual?
So there's this term. There's this term now. It's called black fatigue. Have you heard of it?
Black fatigue. God, you're gonna make me vomit already.
Yeah, Dan, can you?
I've been trying, but
I don't see color like that.
No, now they're trying to twist
it into some other like.
I just don't want to explain my understanding of it, because it's like you don't really know.
Okay, so then this is the what it says on here from.
Okay,
Google,
black
so yeah.
fatigue, a term coined by diversity and inclusion consultant Mary Frances Winters, describes a profound emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion experienced by black individuals due to
Exhaustion.
Is that the
Exhaustion.
Exhaustion.
that's why I don't read, bro. Due to cumulative effects of racism and systemic oppression.
Yeah, they're trying to twist it.
They're twisting it the opposite way.
Exactly. They're trying to say how black people are getting. I think they're getting tired of their own racial prejudice.
They're
and shit
acting
like
out
that.
because there's racism.
They're
No,
getting tired of
this
themselves.
is what it is. I'll tell you right now. It came about with the Carnival cruises, they've changed their like terms and conditions. or
Oh,
whatever.
that's why I've been seeing on the Carnival
Yeah.
cruises with the
But
AI thing.
basically,
The AI thing of the
I've
Carnival
been
cruises is
seeing
amazing.
Yeah,
like
it's too much.
I've been seeing
It's way too
black
much.
people on TikTok saying, like, talking about black fatigue, saying that they're tired of black people having these bad behaviors that some black people might have, that whatever it is, and they're saying that what were they were they're using a bad word to describe those people, and then there was like there's black folk, and then you have these people, and like they were saying like we're the good black people, and we have like the black fatigue is like we're tired.
All right.
Of
Is
this.
there? I got to know the word now. Don't even try to pretend like this is like.
What
is
do you
it
think
the, is
the word
it the N
was?
word?
Yes, it was the N word.
All right.
But it
so
was
the
them
audience
calling
knows.
themselves
The
that.
So they were
So it
calling
was-
it. We're not saying it. They're
No,
saying
we're not
it.
saying it.
Whose joke is that? That's somebody's joke.
N word.
What?
Well,
Like they compare the two different groups. It's Chris Rock or it's Dave Chappelle.
Probably one of those
probably
two.
It's one of
for
those
sure.
two. It's
Yeah.
it's a hilarious bit.
and he's calling them like
Yeah.
N words. Yeah.
And he's like,
Ninjas.
"This."
We
He's
can
like,
say
"This is different."
ninjas. That's what people
Ninjas.
say, yeah.
Well,
But what's this Carnival Cruise thing? What can you
What's
and
these-
can you not do now? No loud music in public.
That's not a good one.
Curfew.
so is there like a connotation?
A lot of these rules is stuff that they already had. They're just now enforcing it.
So I genuinely thought
What does this
thought
have to be?
it
We
was
do
like,
with being black.
I thought
That
it
a
was
lot-
like
it was the loud music. You can't bring your own Bluetooth speakers anymore.
So there's no white people
They're-
doing this.
They're reducing like the
But why
amount
are
of
they-
alcohol you could bring.
But why do black people feel like they're being targeted by these bands? Because I thought it was like they were like doing like DEI, like you can only have a certain amount of black people on the cruise. That's what I thought.
That
which
is
might be a little bit more
wild.
fucked up. Maybe I'm
I
fucked
think
up.
yeah, that's
which
a
I
good
wouldn't
phrase.
condone
I actually
that.
thought
I figured you had to do something like
sounds like a
that
lawsuit.
in order to get a term black fatigue.
But I'm like waiting to see on this list something that like maybe kind of sort of makes sense to this black fatigue thing. Otherwise,
So only black people could have black fatigue, right?
Can you tell ChatGPT
Morally.
to you know,
What's the question you
intertwine this with black fatigue? What's going on?
what did we use?
What a shot
Chat
segment you're
for-
running here, pal.
No,
Well, it's
just
because
fine.
I
This
can't.
is-
I don't want to speak so blatantly about it because I'm trying to be respectful.
Chat is not doing us good right
It's
now.
basically just saying they don't want no ghetto ratchet people on their boats anymore. They don't want people blasting their own freaking trash gangster rap. They don't want people letting their kids run around until 2 a.m. A freaking 5-year-old little black boy. That's usually what it is.
All right, so it is
Like-
have to do with black people.
Yeah, bro. It's the ratchet
As long as
lifestyle.
we're all on the same page.
It's not like
right.
they're
Just didn't know.
explaining it poorly, but that's basically what it is.
Donito
Being
is
tired of
Dominican. Okay, he can say all of this.
ratchet
He got the
culture
card.
that is mostly propped up by them.
All right, so it's just kind of like, but I've seen videos of black people talking about it.
Yeah, I've seen black people talking about
Saying that,
against
like-
it also because it's ratchet. Not all black people are ratchet. Not all
Exactly.
I want to
black
see what
people are
Denzel
ghetto.
They're
Washington
like-
has to say about this.
So my like interpretation is like they're tired of this class of black people because a lot of people judge people in masses or generally, right, or grouping.
right.
So it's like you're a bad representation of us and we're tired of it. That's what I think black fatigue is.
Are there other groups that really have that issue?
Jews.
Yeah, those.
I mean,
some
every,
of those
every
Yeah.
in the city
Especially now.
when we're changing the ACs.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
yeah,
Oh,
that's the real friggin'
Yeah,
Jews.
sometimes they do go a little bit overboard.
What is
Yeah.
that? Jew fatigue? By the way, we could say that.
I
Well,
don't know.
if we should say that, but
I think
tell
maybe
you-
we should get off like the
Buffy,
race fatigue.
You ever like when you used to work with Jimbo, like and you went into those apartments or whatever? You ever smell that cooking?
You about to talk
Just
about
a
the curry right
bland smell,
I
dude.
don't think so.
Oh.
Sometimes there was one time where she was specifically was like, "I'm cooking something," and I was like, "Are you?"
It's like they try to like make it not
And it
smell
was
at all.
like not
Or
not
just
it.
smell bad.
I just remember the little Jewish kids up there just like looking at you like they wanted to get out. They didn't even help. I don't know. They're just looking up at you.
They had the
Like
face
they've
on. I
never
need help.
seen like outside people before.
Yeah, but I think all like races have that, you know.
Sure. Like what would, like for white people?
But the thing is,
Do
like,
you ever
white
go-
people isn't a race.
Yeah, we're
You
throwing.
know?
We're
You know what I will say?
Go ahead.
No offense. I hate Italian people.
Get the out of here.
When you go to a restaurant and you go to
Thank
Italian,
you.
you're going to yeah, exactly. You're going to an
Since
Italian.
when, Dan?
No. So you go into an Italian restaurant. It's me and my girlfriend. We're just trying to sit down. We're trying to hear each other talk. We're trying to be able to hear myself think. And you just got, oh my god, and you're like, Jesus, can you shut the? Can you tone it down 170%? Because I can't even hear myself think.
I hear you. That's a little bit of Italian fatigue. You know, as an
You
Italian,
get a little fatigue from
because you
we're
don't want
loud.
like too much of like a Goomba, like just being, you know, like.
As an Italian,
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I
there's a
can't
lot of
stand
them
it.
in
Because
Staten
then
Island.
that's
There's
like,
a lot
yeah,
of them.
Shut the up. Like,
See,
Yeah.
I think
I don't
because I
blame
look
it.
at it, it's like,
I don't
who the
blame
fuck
it.
are you, dude? Come on.
It's brutal.
know?
It's brutal. Like I
like those stereotypical Italians, I could.
who are just loud as super
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah,
and
yeah.
They
You don't
whine
even
and
Minus
shit.
respect.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Some people just think that they're the most important person in the room, and the world revolves around them. And based on their behavior, it's so like obvious that they think that way. I can't stand that.
small. They're small.
Like, who do you think you are?
Nah, I'm the
Get a grip. No, you're not.
No, but don't act like, you know, nothing else matters but you around. Like, you know,
Yeah, it is tough. I mean,
don't be that guy.
it's tough when you get into like egos. That's the biggest thing for me was like
Ugh.
just anytime it was like this is my ego talking. It's like you have to have self-respect for yourself because I feel like if you have absolutely no ego and you just there's a certain point where people just start to step on you. It's like, all right, we have to have self-respect for yourself.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
yeah.
also have to not think highly of yourself at all. I think it's Miyamoto Musashi said, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. So it's like,
Yeah.
don't take yourself
That's
too
good.
seriously. It's like there are a lot of other way more complicated things going on everywhere else
Right.
cumulatively, and myself alone is not even close to that. So it's
Yeah. Balance.
it's a tough thing to do when like if you're stuck in a certain thing or raised a certain way. It's like you might not even know. It's like that person's doomed. Like bring them out back, dude. Like
Just
Figure it out.
Figure it out
it's
back
tough
there.
because it's hard to navigate because I think people that are humbled and like have similar mindsets to that, like, you know, you're in the right headspace when it comes to that, but it's not even about your headspace because throughout your life you're gonna encounter people with big egos, you're gonna encounter people with small egos, and it's like that correlation and dealing with those is like where it gets tricky, and like you kind of want to throw out your ego and just be like like a psycho, but you
Wow.
also don't want to do it because it's like if you have a big ego, like again, like who the f- are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it becomes like frustrating because I don't have this big ego, so why do you? Type of thing. It's like hard to navigate.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
What are you sleepy,
Capiche.
Chrissy?
A little bit of sleepy, also a little bit of heartburny.
That's a bad
it's coming up
combination.
on-
Bro, what the f- is heartburn? How do I get rid of it?
I don't know, but maybe you want to end your notes
You're
so
a
I can
trainer.
go take a Tumps.
Less spicy food for starters.
Nah, turn this
Oh,
off,
that's
then.
not
I
cool.
can't.
AI,
I can't, dude.
AI
Turn it
is
off.
too much.
Oh my gosh, man.
No, but the thing is, you don't have to make an AI video. There's actual videos like that. That's the
That's
fucked
true.
up part.
That's true.
But
if you you
to me.
can't eat and then lay down. You try to take notice to what you're eating and the spices that are in it, and usually that's like my starting point. Because if you eat and then you lay down, like you go to sleep, like you might not be that night, but the cumulative effect of that will catch on eventually.
because like I'll get heartburn and I didn't eat something.
But it could be from coffee even.
Like this morning, I had heartburn, but I did have pasta at the end of the night.
So you
There you
woke
go.
up and it was bothering you.
It's like certain
I
sauce.
think it's that red pepper.
Yeah.
But in those
crazy.
burgers.
Maybe it's like the acid, maybe sometimes the spice.
Yeah.
I would
crazy.
play the process of elimination one by one. That's usually how I to figure out what's actually wrong.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. You have to. It takes a while to do, but you have to take out one ingredient. Is that the thing that's bothering me? You can put it back in, take another
Yeah.
thing out. Is that the
Okay.
thing that's bothering me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it for the notes. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I got heartburn. I have to go take a Tums. Gonna come up elsewise. Buff, thanks for coming on, man.
Elsewise,
Did I say that?
Yeah, he
Elsewise,
did.
that's a word.
Listen, he's not even thinking
Did I
clearly.
say
He
that?
had-
That's
he
how
needs-
you know we
he needs
gotta
a
go.
Tums.
Dan,
Because
why
I'm
don't
not
you
usually
get on him, bro.
I'm not usually one to mess up the grammar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This,
No,
this
Buff,
guy just said elsewise.
Appreciate you coming on, brother.
absolutely appreciate being here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Buff.
man. Yeah.
Always a pleasure. It's a
Till
great
next
time.
year, we'll make this a weekly, yearly thing. I'll have the prank lined up so that on the next pod next year,
You'll have
I'll
your
have
confession.
the reveal. Yeah, we'll have to. It'll all line up.
You guys gotta phone me in for like a mid season where you're like, "How's the prank coming along?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be huge, though. It's gonna be huge.
That's great.
All right, yeah, no, James, do you want to talk to the people a little bit? Give them a little heartfelt.
Yeah. I'll give him a little
uplifting-
something. Give him a little something for sure. For sure.
something just to
Listen.
take their week on.
Yeah. I got this. Okay, so it's Tuesday right now, or whenever you're watching this, honestly. Just take this with you. We do a lot of joking here on the How We Doing pod. At the end of the day, we love everybody. We do, because we just want everybody to kind of prosper, man. We're all looking for that in some way or another, and the best way to do that is honestly feel good about what you're doing in your life. And part of find your way to that, I strongly believe, is nurturing your community. Just nurture your community. If you have one person, it's worth nurturing. So just tune into that, because you find yourself being needed, and we all want to feel needed in some way or another. So nurture your community. Remember, you're freaking awesome. All right. How we doing, love, from the How We Doing pod. Buffy, thank you for coming on, man.
Tune into
Thanks,
that.
Buff. It's been a
Subscribe
pleasure.
to that. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube. Whatever else you guys want to do. I don't
Comment
care.
your favorite dragon.
Yeah, and let us know if
Semantic universe.
let us know if we should stop wearing slides on the podcast. Maybe we should put.
Let
some
us
shoes
know
on.
if
Dan's putting his thumbs up. He thinks so. Yes, but we're just comfortable. We're just comfy guys, comfy
you
chill
want the
guys.
toes, Dan.
You got dirty toes.
We'll be better
Should
without
be
socks.
suits and ties.
Maybe we should go flip flops.
Suits and ties and
I'm
flip
never
flops.
going back to shoes.
You know,
You live in fucking Florida.
It's a classy.
I never wear
It's a
flip-flops
classy
like
kind
that.
of flop too. It's not your ordinary flip flop.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the thong flop.
Sandals.
How much those run you
Flop.
back?
30, $40.
Yeah, that's a wow.
Crocs.
High quality.
Those are Crocs.
Yeah. Just buy one, get one 50% off.
Talk to you
You
next
guys are
time
different
on
colors.
the
So me
How
and
We
my
Doing
old lady got
podcast. We'll be
something.
talking about
Me and
more
your old lady.
podcasts and shoes and whatnot. And
Go get your week.